$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings. Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
These clowns and others, you for the fire. The fire is being kindled. 2 days this year. The world is getting so hot right now. Where's the heat at? Oh, in the Middle East, I've been saying for years. Remember Farrakhan? Oh, Armageddon started. Remember years ago? Spread all over Europe. In the war of Armageddon. In line, Ishmael says, man says, told him this happened. It don't come to pass. Don't listen to that person no more. You don't have to worry about them. Well, okay, well, that's another lie you told. Because Farrakhan, the liar, is pathetic. He can't even sit in a wheelchair right now. He's sitting over there. They can't wipe his own ass. Yeah, they publish him all over the place. Recently they said, well, he celebrated, what, 70th anniversary, wedding anniversary? They show old pictures. Well, why can't they show a new picture? I mean, if he said God told him to shut up. He told him don't pose for a picture. Why could they just set him up? I mean, just prop him up, put a suit on him, show his face. No, because he's pathetic. He can't wipe his own ass. He's sick. And they say, well, none happens without the will of Allah. Well, that means will of Allah must be there. Run up his dumb ass. He's sick, pathetic. They don't show any pictures. Okay, well, why don't you send a video out there, say, or audio? Hey, brothers and sisters, I'm doing good. Okay. Why don't you do that? Why don't you show, you walk around? He said God told him not to set up. That's what he said. He's a liar. So why don't they just show him a picture of something? They're dragging old stuff from years ago, trying to make him relevant. Because they're all liars over there. And some of them are just too pathetic. They can't bring themselves to say that, realize they was lied to. But Pharaoh can't do a goddamn thing for him. He can't get people to get him across the river. What river? Did he get reparations for him? Did he get anything for him? They know he ain't gonna die right away. He's gonna be. I told him years ago. He kept saying, no, he'll be around for a few more days. Around long enough to see. Right? The whole thing collapsed. Because NOI is about to change hands. They got a lot of trouble over there right now. When it does, he's gonna be around to see that. He's gonna comprehend it. We're gonna make him comprehend it. The Lord will consume it, spit of his mouth, and destroy with the price of his coming. God is a goddamn liar. I was there. But he looted the nation. Him and Fred Wallace, badmouth the messenger and Master Muhammad. We got tapes of them doing it. Don't forget about part. Elijah Muhammad said he was worst hypocrite. I'm not going off on that. But the point is, fuel for the fire, because fire comes, either you're inspired by the fire, or you're burned up by the fire. These clowns right here, watch them. See if I'm lying. See if I'm wrong. Because in a few more days, they're going to be on their knees, weeping and crying. Oh, no, ain't nobody going to hear a goddamn thing they got to say. Oh, watch. You're going to bear witness. I mean, no. Don't say enough. Don't even open your mouth, say nothing else. If you're going to shove shit in it, don't say anything. We don't hear nothing you got to say. You already said enough. All lies over there. $5,000 to prove that they can find one verse, just one verse in the scriptures, Quran or Bible, that verifies that Farrakhan's all he claims to be. Just one verse. I can find 1,000 verses say just the opposite. I tell about Aaron. who followed Elijah was no damn good. Got 10 hearts back to Egypt and working the golden calf and everything else. I tell you, Peter was cutting the ears off as soon as Elijah, he put the, as soon as Elijah put, get the person here, he cut the damn ears off. If you read that, on this rock I build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. If you read that, if you can read and pay attention to that, it just says the opposite of what you think it says. If you got the church and you got hell and you got between the gates, if you got church on one side, hell on, remember, gates of hell will not prevail against it. So it means that church on one side, only thing separating them is the gates. That's what it's saying. This rock I build my church. And when you put something on a rock, that means it don't have any roots, does it? It doesn't have any, it doesn't hold it. Anyway. And the gates of hell will not prevail against it. So you got the church on one side, and you got the gates, got the hell on the other side, and you got the gates between them. So the gates designed to keep people in hell, right? If the gates don't prevail, people in hell comes out and they get in church, don't they? Read it. See, okay. Most of you, look, if you think that's you got your hair up his ass, think that brown stuff is honey, keep it up there. But we don't want you around us. We ain't trying to convince you. We're trying to separate you out, identify you. That's probably what I'm gonna do today. And I had a lot of technical stuff, so I'm gonna get a short version today. Hopefully tomorrow, but I was gonna finish. I said a 5-day series. So hoping to finish up today, at least most of it. Was a problem is had. Going to take and do some today. Maybe tomorrow. Fuel for fire. Fuel for fire, brothers. They've been weeping and gnashing of teeth. Oh, just shut up. Don't say another word. It says, for them is most grievous. Did you read it? What it says? Let me go back and replay it again. Most grievous chastisement. I mean, the worst chastisement you could possibly get. The time of, what kind of bad can that be? It's the worst. Play it again, bro. It says, I'm gonna take a little time. Just play it again.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
The most grievous chastisement. I mean, the most, that's worse can be. The most is the worst. Serve for them. Be part of the book, this, be other. They'll never talk about the messenger of the covenant. It's right there with Elijah. Or last one, it says right there, clear. Messenger of the covenant. He will come to Elijah's temple. We'll talk about it. Why? Last one, he said, eternal leader, nation of Islam. Right there. And then, when he said messenger of the covenant of what? The messenger of the covenant, never talk about it. Never mention it. But it's right there. So being part of the book, this being the other. Then what? So what covenant? So look at the covenant. Where's the covenant? Abraham covenant. And you go and see what the covenant is, right? They tell you, they read that part too, the top part, about we're going to be 400 years over here and afflict and all that kind of stuff. Then the next verse it says, and after that 400 years, I made a covenant. That's his word. Bond. Right? No doubt about it. After that 400 years, right? You will return home and tell you exactly where it is between the river Euphrates and the river Egypt, which is Arabia. That's God. That's a covenant. That's he's messed up the covenant. But they say we ain't going nowhere. So he's calling God a goddamn liar. God said we ain't going nowhere. These clowns say the same thing. So they calling God a liar. And that's a firm covenant. That's a covenant. It's beyond reproach. See? I mean, it's clear. Right there, you got him. So people that deal with them on that, we won't stay with them. Because when the judgment comes, they don't have nothing to say. Because he's asking that one question. Did you read about the messenger of the covenant? You read about it like, yeah, do you? What about the messenger? Oh, yes, sir. have to answer, what's the covenant? Okay, well, what's the covenant say? That says we're going to, what's the covenant say? That's God's word, right? What do you mean you believe in part of the book, this and that, believe this, believe the other? We don't have to go any further. And we can go, that's just start off. We're not going to waste time with that. I said, he would not even speak to them on that time. He just throw their ass in the fire. Because it's waste time being talked. Because it's anybody with Farrakhan is a goddamn fool or a demon, right? We're just total idiot. Because there's no way in the world you could be with that dumb ass stinking clown who is the son of a devil. His father's a devil. We can prove it. It's our father's personal clock. Just Google it. I mean, he's the seed of a devil. And he's going, oh, I want to save America. And let's say, God says they're 100% wicked. We got to take them all to the plant, but no, we want to save them. That means that was those with him. They probably sons of devils too. And this clown over here, I don't know who he is. He claims he's Elijah's son, but I know if Elijah was around and heard what you about to see in a minute, he'll cut his goddamn throat. When he hesitate.
Section 1, Fundamental Principles of Islam. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. 1. I, Allah, am the best knower. 2. This book, there is no doubt in it, is a guide to those who keep their duty. 3. Who believe in the unseen and keep up prayer and spend out of what we have given them. 4. And who believe in that which has been revealed to thee and that which was revealed before thee, and of the hereafter they are sure.
Absolutely clear. You got to believe in the Bible also. Right? That's a part, you can be part of it in this, but you got to be in the Bible also. But they say, oh, no, well, okay. That's God talk. I am the best knower. But they said, no, so he don't. Obviously, Farrakhan knows more than him, obviously. He said, well, man, so, because he jumping over out of the book, disbelieving the other, whatever. Continue, Bronson.
174. Those who conceal aught of the book that Allah has revealed and take for it a small price, they eat nothing but fire into their bellies, and Allah will not speak to them on the day of resurrection, nor will he purify them, and for them is a painful chastisement. 175. Those are they who buy error for guidance and chastisement for forgiveness, how bold they are to challenge the fire. 176. That is because Allah has revealed the book with truth. And surely those who disagree about the book go far in opposition.
The Bible is truth. It is. It's sealed. That means those that read don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's still a book. It said the seal. Elijah said the seal's under the veil. Daniel's sealed too. And they have, unless those somebody broke the seal, that means they don't know the fuck they're talking about. They talking all this crap, and plus they believe in part of the book and this mean the other. It says the messenger of the covenant, he would lamb, the true lamb. That's how you know him, because he broke the seals. Because it says no one in the heavens and earth could do that. So that's how the person that does, that's the one. If they haven't done it. They haven't broken any. The only thing they've broken is broken from gas. That's when they broke some broken wind. We have the seals broken right here. You can check. I give anything $5,000 to prove that it's wrong. Whether we did or not, you haven't. So why are you still talking? So the messenger of the covenant that you don't ever talk about, that's the person that will be on the scene, and his credentials are that he's broken the seals. And none of you claim that. Farrakhan don't claim it. That's the only thing. He can't even break wind now. They blew his ass up. Pissing the shit in the bag. He can't do that right now. He can't even wipe his own ass. That's why they won't show a picture of him. Anything pathetic. He's the Messiah. They say nothing happens without Allah's will, right? Nothing happens without Allah's will. Nothing about Allah's will, right? Well, okay, then was Allah's will that lie daughter to get cancer, wasn't it? They have both ways. I'm 76. I ain't never had cancer, nothing like that. 55. That must be Allah's will. So Allah's will, because that's not a chest. That's not a trial. If you get cancer like that, you can't get no replacement. No, what they call it. When they give you a transplant, you can't get that. You can't transplant your stuff. That's a curse. It says right in Malachi, there'd be God, there'd be Elijah, and there was someone that was robbing the nation. The nation. Who's robbing the nation? Was Elijah robbing it? He. It ain't Master Muhammad robbing it. Who's robbing? Whoever's robbing it is cursed with a curse. Now tell me that's not a curse. Tell me getting your stuff up like not 85 years old. 55 years old. Your ass blown up, and you claim you're protected by God. Is that that's the kind of protection God provides? Whatever God that you believe in, you stay away, fuck away from me. Oh, man, look at his mouth. You goddamn right. But it's wartime. Not no. I want to save America. Can America be good? I want to save. I don't want to go nowhere. I want to stay right here. Read Legion. Louis Eugene Ground in our back was, please don't make me leave the country. It's so clear who he is. I ain't trying to make you like me. I'm going on my way to make you not like me. Because I know if you come here because you like me, you come in the wrong place. You got to come here because of the wisdom that you find here. If you don't, because Islam is mathematics, Islam. We get a mathematics of everything. You're not here for that. Don't come here because I don't have time wasted for you. That's what you do. See, you put a screen. Like, yeah, if you want to protect the mountain of gold, cover it with shit. Nobody go anywhere near it unless they know there's gold. They show us gold in there. See, time is running out, bros. Things so hot right now. Like I told you, September. You never seen things. My calculations gonna blow up in a few more days this month. Still saying it. See, things still falls in Master Muhammad's make fall. But a couple of things that has to take place in a minute. Let me read. No, you think you're in the garden? What? I think I have a. No. This okay. You think you're in the garden while there's not befalling you life, but fell those passed way before you. Stress and affliction befell, and they were shaken violently. The message of those who believe. In other words, what they tell you is, you're not in the garden. You want to get the garden. The garden is baby. That's what it tells you. And you go to that to get there. But who's going to do those things to you? It says violence. They give it. You about to rise, but the dragon stood by to see the child who was born. If they be born today, they're going to try to stop it. They're going to use violence. And forever they want you to leave. He used violence. It's already in play right now, bro. They're already surrounding you. And you listen to these clowns, you don't even know. They're already surrounded. Everything is in preparation. It says come as a snare. It's already prepared. If you ain't paying attention, no. Tell you why you have not paying attention. Because you're about to, the woman's in labor. You're about to be born. They know it. But the baby don't know it. Mama knows it. Watch this, bro.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Pfleger as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
Big shit there. Show me the verse. That's a black man, how to live, for America, save and thrive. Any of his videos, anything that justify what he just did. Every lesson. Let's say they're 100% wicked. We cannot get along with them. It's possible to get along with them. And it's possible to reform them. It's possible. That's what the lesson says. That's what Muhammad said. I guess Ishmael knows more than him. He says the only choice you guys is to get him off the planet. That sound like that? You gonna tell me they were Elijah? They use Elijah. They shit on Elijah. They're not representing Elijah in any way, shape, form, or fashion. They said, give me $5,000 if you think I'm lying. Just step forward and get $5,000. Prove me to be a liar. I've been saying it for years. They don't. And they're aware of this, because I make sure they're aware of it. Big ass people, boy. Ooh. Grievous chastisement. And we ain't talking about days, we ain't talking about years away. We talking about literally days away. Because Nation of Islam is going to change hands here. I'm going Ancient of Days, thrones cast down. Ancient of Days just set. Right? Thrones had to be set down. Whose thrones was cast down? It means the one setting. When he went to Aaron's camp in Exodus, right? That those with the Lord, it means they wasn't with Aaron. Then he wiped, killed all Aaron's people. Well, if the ones that wouldn't, Aaron was still left behind, wasn't he? So if they were still with Aaron, they would have came with Moses too, wouldn't they? So he killed Aaron too. Aaron didn't make the promised land. Guys' ass killed in the desert, just like the rest of them. Those people that follow his dumb ass. And we want you, that's good. Because the separation of chaff and the wheat, that's my mission. So why would I want to mix? Once you separate, once you wash the shit out, why would you want to bring it back in? I ain't trying to bring you back in. I want to keep you out there with them. That's the whole job. You don't, once you separate chief chaff from the wheat, you don't mix that back up the wheat again. What's the point? You want to identify the chaff. It says you took the chaff, identified it, it says, lo, it's separated. Then you burn up the chaff. Let's get going, bro.
Three. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
Now, this is the spirit of true Messiah, the message of the covenant. Remember, he's total sync with Allah, if you want to look at it that way, right? But that's the will of Allah. He's speaking. Remember, the Messiah is the will of Allah. Messiah is the will of, say it again. Messiah is the will of Allah. That's him speaking there. Messiah. That's the will of Allah right there. Fury, vengeance. I'm going to tread him down in my fury. This what he, for the people, for who, those that persecuted. See, Abraham, because it says, when he says, at the end of that 40 years, he said he was going to judge us like Farrakhan, saying, you're wicked, you're sinful, you got to turn. No, he said he's going to judge the nation that did that to us, America. And this is the way it's going. That's the spirit the Messiah has. He has to, remember, for the last 3 weeks, the will of Allah, the will of Allah, the will of Allah. Being true to the will of Allah, that's the will of Allah right there. Let's see what Mr. Other Messiah, what he got to say about it.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Warakuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way if the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent?
6. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. 7. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations not a few. 8. For he saith, are not my princes altogether kings?
Brothers and sisters? Oh, wow. Is that the will of God? Is that the will of Allah? Two different things to me. God speaking out of both sides of his mouth? He said they would dwell in the land of, what is it here? And David, my servant, right? Will king over. That means that's has to be Master Prophet Muhammad, right? He's gonna be the king over. He's gonna rule the nation, right? And he shall have one shepherd, only one. I mean, he's right. He talking about somebody under him like Elijah. He's the ruler, and he shall walk in my and they that dwell in the land and they shall dwell in the land I have given. Right over there, but Pharaoh said, "We're gonna stay here." He said, "No, we're gonna dwell over there." Land that was given to us. What does it say? Best piece, best upon the planet Earth. Move on. See? They don't talk about this. Why they don't talk about this Malachi? Being part of the book, this being the other. I don't speak about this. And I will send my messenger. He prepared the way. So Elijah might be preparing the way for someone. No, he's the last one to lead the nation of Islam. It says he prepared the way for someone else. And who? The Lord you seek shall suddenly come to his temple. The messenger of the covenant. He prepared the way for him. But no, he's the last one to lead the nation of Islam. Why? Because the devil is controlling them. You're going to find the man that Pharaoh comes on their payroll. You know, his son, the supreme captain, is a police officer in Chicago. Check it out. Google it. This is a police officer working for the devil. Why would he work for the devil? And plus, he's a millionaire. That means he only need to have work. But why is he over there? Let's just give him cover. So when he talks to people, say, "Oh, I work." They can communicate, and they say, "No, you're stupid." They know people with Farrakhan are stupid, so they go fall for anything. Because if you fall for Farrakhan, means you're stupid right by definition, so they can tell you anything. But Farrakhan tells you anything. And you believe, he said, "Hey, man, that brown stuff up my ass, that's honey." "Oh, yeah, me says honey, must be honey. It's something wrong with my taste buds." What's something wrong with my taste buds? He said it was honey. Why? He's a millionaire. Check it out. He's supreme captain. Right? That means him and Farrakhan control the whole damn thing. Supreme captain. He's a police officer. How do you square that, sir? Because if anybody see him talking over there, so they can say, "Oh, I'm going over there." Oh, they say, "Well," they say he's not on active duty, but he's a police officer. That's his cover. They say, "Oh man, I'm a police. That's why I'm over there, coordinating." Look at what the FBI said they wanted to happen after Elijah Muhammad left. And see if Farrakhan didn't give them every point they asked for. Don't call devils devil anymore. Stop talking this nation separation. We ain't going nowhere. Stop talking, stop talking, what do you call it, self-help, Scientology. Come on. I'm just talking to people that's the guys open, looking for light, because there's total darkness over there. Because if your eyes are open, but it's so dark, you still can't see. So you wait for that light, that's why he's seeking the message of the cut. Right, come on. These clowns are. For that in a minute. I can get to that today. Again, if you read the Abraham Covenant right here, right? They read this top part here. Being a part of the book, this being the other. Right? High part of it. Why can they mention this part right down here? In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram. That's not a promise. That's his word. That's involuntary. You cannot. Right? You have more to the bank, take grave with you, saying until that seed, not Farrakhan, because it follows the devil. That seed. They don't say they say seed, so make sure you know who they're talking about. The Mr. Covenant covers who, when, where. Until I see I've given this land. What land? From the river Euphrates to the river Egypt to the great river Euphrates. Go look on the map. It's very clear. That's Arabia. That's what God says. After 40 years, Farrakhan calling God a liar. He said, we ain't going nowhere. He's calling God a goddamn liar. You gonna tell me he talks to God? He calling God a liar. He said, we ain't going nowhere. He said, we ain't going nowhere. He likes it here. Yeah. But this is home. He's a devil. Yeah, he's not see Abraham. Now tell me what how you gonna get around that one? Tell me how you get around that one. It says right there. And he claims that it's us. And the history is right there. 40 years and everything else. 1619, 2019. And that's God's word. He says we ain't going nowhere. But, oh, is that the spirit of okay? But he's with the Lord, right? Boy, curse his dumb ass. Blew his ass up. His friends. His synagogue, Satan, he called him. They stuck some radiation pellets up there and blew his ass up. He's supposed to be protected by God. What, God was asleep that day? Or he was in everybody's womb making babies. You see. No, your mother father got nothing to do with it. Right? What did he eat sperm for? Because he's in everybody's womb making babies. But he's a man. None of that shit makes any goddamn sense. He's a man, flesh and blood. But no, wait, you can't worship flesh and blood though. Because you can't worship flesh and blood. You can't, right? So but you got to worship the originator. But it ain't flesh and blood. But Elijah Muhammad said, God's a man. You can't make me out of a man. But no, you can't worship from Muhammad. You can't worship him because he prays too. Who he prays to? He can't. Well, if he prays something that's not flesh. But yeah, he's the God. Man, give me a fucking break. I was over there with Elijah for 70, 75. If these clowns had showed up when Elijah was around, they would have showed up. I tell you that, right? Because there was a lot of crazy shit going around there. But this is off the page. This stuff was off the page. It makes no sense at all. Now suddenly, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, but it don't matter. One drop black blood make you black. It don't matter who Farrakhan's father was. God making the rule. It don't matter. Oh, but then why he said to seed Abraham then? I already matched him. Tick tock, tick tock. Death ward, brother and sister. Let's get out. I'm gonna cover a couple of things. If not gonna be able to spend 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours today, but many things come up. Me, I'm 35. I tell you about the drought and the water, had that vision. I didn't realize it until I'm actually feeling it. But that glorious rain is about to hit. Oh. He's going to stand up. Because when they rise up, they can rise up exceeding great army. With enough firepower to blow up this whole fucking earth. Because they fuck with us for 40 years. Especially our women. That's the main thing. We're going to avenge our women and we're going to avenge them. And it's going to be totally clear to everybody on this planet, in this universe, the next 12 universes out there, if they're out there, you don't fuck with our women. Is that clear enough for you? Farrakhan wants to forgive him though. Can you listen, sick dog? All this shit they did to us, especially they did to our women. I mean, our women was in terror. I mean, we was in bad shape. But they was in actual terror. They were more emotional than we are. They was in constant terror. And then they was raping them and doing the stuff they was doing. They raped us too, but what they did them was, and they was in terror for 40 years. And he wants to say, just let them go. Just forgive these devils. Are you fucking serious? If I was a female and I heard you saying that, I'd cut your goddamn throat myself. I mean, we done went through all this here, and you're going to say it was nothing? Just forget it. Appointed, he was a constant terror 24/7, and they raped us and forced us to carry their devil babies and nurse them and everything. I was like, we got a nurse, a nurse, you know, they got a thing in Judaism called, I forget how they use it. I forgot the term. Do not get, well, that means no. I speak to maybe come. Yeah, she got to give birth, she got raped, she was in a cotton field, and sometimes they have her out there naked so the guy could jump off her and just rape her while he was right there. They'll bend over and rape her right there, where she'd already been over picking cotton, and they tell him keep picking cotton while he's beeping her. You better keep picking that cotton. She was sick. And then she get pregnant because we couldn't touch it. We said we couldn't touch our own women. Couldn't touch it. Then she get pregnant. Then she got to carry this goddamn sick ass rape baby. Remember Farrakhan's mother tried to rape boy his ass 3 times. Why you think that's the case? But he's a special baby. And yet and she's a special woman, but she was trying to board his ass 3 times. Who told her to do that? So then when she gets it, then she got to nurse the baby, and the baby grows up and call her a nigger. It might rape her himself. And that's what our women have to go through. And you're gonna say, "Oh, I want to see that happen in America," and you don't see through that. You don't avenge your women. You don't deserve to have them. You don't deserve to be a nation. Every nation knows that. That's why they laugh at us. That's our job. Protect our women. And if you can't do it, restrain, and that's understandable. So you can't do it. We're told to submit. But once that's over, you start kicking ass. You start taking names. You make sure everybody know you don't fuck with our women. You put so much terror in you. I mean, you. When you get finished, everybody know they wouldn't even think of it. They're scared to even think of it. You don't mess. That's our job. You expect them to do their job, work for you and take 9 months, but you don't want to do yours. Farrakhan saying, what he's saying? Let me translate it for you. Our women don't mean shit. Our women don't mean shit. They fuck them. They went through all that. They don't mean shit because I love these devils. One of them. That's what he's saying. But God says he's going to judge this nation. So Farrakhan said he's with God. So he's in what he in a fight with God now. God says he's going to judge this nation for what they did. It says right there in Abrahamic covenant. But he said, no, I don't want to see him judged. But yeah, you put me in consistent with God's will. See, this is so clear. That's why those clowns over there with them. Wait you see what happened to them. You got a kindergarten child could see this. Ray Charles could see it. He's dead and blind. So he just said, "Damn, you mean they?" I just got a message from him. Hey, Ray, what's it? They can't see. No, man, they can't see that. Damn. Maybe I should come over there and talk. This is sick shit, boy. Farrakhan, of all the enemies that's been to the Nation of Islam, have been ours, he's the most obvious one. He's the most obvious one. There's no question. That's why it says, if you fooled by him, you deserve to be destroyed. He's the easiest one. He follows the devil. He says it. He said, last time I said he's the worst hypocrite. He is. He's a liar. He's cursed with a curse. He's a millionaire still. How he got that money? Having a business guy from Nation of Islam ripped off. He even says it himself. He left us with nothing. They said we ain't going. He called God a liar. He said we ain't going nowhere. And God said that was Elijah's entire message. The devils ain't no devils anymore. I mean, what the hell? Move on, bro. I'm have to close. I'm not gonna get anywhere near. Oops. On. Keep forgetting this. Always forget this. Okay, there's no way I'm gonna cover all these things. Like I said, it was going to be a long presentation, bro. So I'm gonna get to one that I think that's most interesting right now. Uh, let's go to resistance bomb. It's what I've been talking. Our bomb. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Wrong one. Oh, I think that one. There you go. You see, what's there? That's the people speaking the message of the sister that's in there. It said they would be in the Nation of Islam. It said they would be there. They would when they recognize the message of coming, they're gonna run to them. That's said in Mark, and that's gonna happen soon. But it said the throne was cast down, right? But the thing is, it says that there was somebody blocking the light. They was seeking. They couldn't see because somebody had to be seeking. I mean, he was there. They just couldn't see it. So that's because Farrakhan and his boys, they're blocking the light. Bright light, like laser. Blocking it. Keep them from seeing it. This. See what happens, light has heat in it. Sunlight has heat in it. Light has heat in it too. Light has heat in it. They're holding it back, but the longer you hold it, the form of resonance, right? The hotter it's going to get. It's going to get, right? It's going to keep shining on it, get hotter, hotter, hotter. What happens? Then it start getting hot. See, the thing that's holding it getting hot. Heat's building up. Building up. It's happening right now. They're in trouble over there. Desperate. Because they're losing people. And they got I don't want to say a coup. Right? They got a rebellion going over there because people start asking questions. But if you to pay attention to what I be saying during the week, then look at what I say in the weekend, it's always a response to what I'm saying. Oh, not a coincidence. I said, damn, that's what you was talking about this week. Because in trouble. And people starting to ask questions. And they don't want you to ask questions. You know, Elijah Muhammad, he always gave Q&A. He gave a Q&A. I was there. I did security for him. I mean, I never met him personally, but I've been within a couple of feet of him because I did security for him. I mean, I was a close person. My wife at the time, she passed, right? She actually knew him. She ran an MGT dress shop. So, you know, he would come in every time. But she knew Farrakhan too. When Elijah departed, she had a conversation with Farrakhan. He wanted to build to you with me, but he was, you know him too, because brother was a minister in Indiana. I was a foreman of Humsick newspaper. We print our own paper. You know who print their paper? It's called Synagogue of Satan. But yeah, he built the nation. He rebuilt it. He built everything. He ain't built a goddamn thing. That's what's happening. He's burning up. Hard time holding it. Hitting up. That's a resident because I 35 years keep on. Says preaching the four winds. The four winds are also fire. Because he's bringing. Read the angel said, I'm gonna start. I don't know. Angel Key, right? God was going to. But anyway, says he's gonna bring lightning, thunder, hailstones and earthquakes. That's what he coming with now. Go, I was in heaven. Start burning him up. I got to burn him. That time my God told him, be quiet. It's a time, worst darkness ever. But he's been paying that fool to be the light, right? And now, the world's in total turmoil. He's never seen anything as high as this. Everybody's threatening the nuclear war and everything, but oh, God told him, be quiet. You buy that? You paying this clown? Like you paying somebody a guide to guide you, right? You paying him some time to guide. And he said, "Oh, I can't do it. Give my money back then. What am I paying you for? This time you're supposed to need him to tell what's going on. He don't know what's going on. That's why I ain't told him a goddamn thing. He don't know what's going on. He knows it's coming on. I've been telling you that this war is coming. All you got to do is go check my president. They deplatformed me many times. Go check my presentation. I've been saying for years, war is coming. It's going to be in the Middle East. I said who's going to be between. I gave a time frame. Watch the weather. Stuff. This war, when it resumes, it's going to trigger Armageddon. Not Armageddon. Then what happens? They kept trying to block light. That light's getting too hot for them. Get too hot for them. Burn them up. Now the light gets to the people. Come together. You extreme great army, because now they got a clear vision. I'm gonna leave it there, boss. I'm not gonna cover all those other points I need to cover. Leave it there. Hopefully tomorrow I can. Burn the ass up. We gotta keep on doing this. Light is a form of resonance too. Heat, you keep that light on there. Keep hitting it. Let's keep hitting it. Boom, boom, and get out. They can't take it anymore. Burns them up. I'm gonna leave it there, brother. Says Assalamu alaikum.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Warakuddin and I have had disagreement. But his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
"49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? 50. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished? 51 Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. 52 For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. 53 The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, Brother Minister. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. That's real, Brother Minister. Both sides. That's real.
Wake us up, dear Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right. That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass. When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, Brother Minister. Yes, we
Wake us up here, Apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
That's right.
We owned buildings. We owned farmland. We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
We own no land here in America. Out of all the 50 states now that America's on, she have not as yet offered to her 22 million free slaves who served their father for 300 years in servitude. Not even the teeniest state in the Union. She has not offered her slave nothing to go upon. While Israel was offered something to leave Egypt with, a few gold pieces. They was helped to get out of Egypt. But we have been let loose like cattle. Not even having any chance whatsoever to go away from our slave masters to our own. And they would not carry us back to our people. Let us remember these things. Almighty God, Allah taught us that our fathers wanted to go back to their people when they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship Jesus that John Hawkins brought our parents here on, they stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together, feet. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on the ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we're on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shores of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
So long till they don't know the birth record, so they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through. Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong. But he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man, because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays
in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days. I was there for 3 days, and in the 3 days that I was there, wrangling with the scholars, we talked about this. And when I finished explaining, the heaviest scholars there didn't bother to argue. They had to go away and study it. And what we don't realize is God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And what you're doing, you are following those that God wants to put you over. The Arab is a good person, basically. They've done a wonderful job in keeping the book of God pure. And we are grateful to them for so doing. But they messed up. It's your turn now. And God will see how you act. But you're not to follow Arabs. You're to lead them. And you can't lead them following them. See, they like to see you imitating them. Just like white Christians want to see black Christians imitating them. We're not to follow white people today. They had their day of rule, and their day of rule is up. That's all. God is going to replace them with a new ruler. And whether you like it or not, the new ruler is black. He have hair like lamb's wool, and he has feet like burnished brass. And if y'all can't take a black leader, then you might as well get off the planet.
Beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest practices in all the religions is prayer. The form and style of prayer varies from faith to faith, but prayer is universal. There is no religious community that does not pray. No prophet of God that did not pray. Abraham prayed, Noah prayed, Moses prayed, David prayed, Joseph prayed, Jesus prayed, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prayed, Master Fard Muhammad prays.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these are these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, you know, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, you know, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for, 4 more years? And so you wonder, like, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. Like, I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't like you. I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, you know, Keir Starmer campaigned on, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course, it's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is, like, is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are. And that's real. And no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident. That's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist.
Well,
I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
Wait, it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been such a
society
thing. One culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society, because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments, right? So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes
Once you
with
start
it.
rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them.
Look,
it's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments, right? So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes
Once you
with
start
it.
rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is, dude.
But
Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of I certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person. But that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe, and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
That's and as I clarified,
It's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian, and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. and this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation.
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's.
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful. Does your religion
dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying, if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had, because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and Black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even, Roland, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly are with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman. And if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry. He's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff for Charlie Charlie Kirk. Fly his body on Air Force Two. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. Oh, I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for one semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that one semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7. Rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, where they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was endured was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 400 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. And it's enduring today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, they had a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black, and this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate and slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. That's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mayship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? What's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing for ripping off everyone. That's the legacy of Christianity. They've been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
and going westward or going out there in the land, ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, watching to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
and going westward or going out there in the land, ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return. With their hands stretched out towards that ship and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I. turning your face from your native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your home? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their arms 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Veteran of Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and we're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. found a home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. When there was an agreement made, a former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and trade it for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over there sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we get reports of how things are going over there, and it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations, because they was given they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see, yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them. They stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land, and they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And it's just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they have big and massive. They came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told them 6 states and promised them that he would have prepared them for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they need for that. But I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like, They're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no, they say, they looked and the farmers, when they done it, farmers said, oh. So then they asked, Master, what's happening here? How come you know, right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they Master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour back's coming in, right? And then they look, you know, and they had, you know, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? And so they've been praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's Master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic Covenant, Arabia. You know, your brothers and sisters, they left, they took that was offered to them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. That's you. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff is coming every hour, man. Instead, like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the Master, hey, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, no nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and get to train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was your reparations. So then if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and it ran out. They had to, some of them replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep. They thought that was just going. I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See? And they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They ain't, business. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's gonna get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here, right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said God said that's what he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. Look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, every all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. It's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, all that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, all that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So he said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take our money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have to find your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Okay. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million a piece. So everybody got $1 million a piece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation, right? Because if you got $1 million worth of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold, right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one's worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing the wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is They keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's all it's worth. $1 hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, you control your own wealth. You can't keep coming at us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me he had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they're just using a different certificate, using another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you were so happy with it now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapsed because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't know how to get those communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You don't know how to engineer a good house. You don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything, right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you're going to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe you call it Traveland. Farrakhan. They got the Farrakhan, right? So they close the borders, you can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, in places, just in that land, that you 6 days. And now you're starving, you ain't got no, your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, he on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. You turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's the reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? How much that is? If it's 17 million, if it's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. Then they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded. Because they closed the border. And what you going to do? You want to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, when it was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. This homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and living in the get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here where they, because they're trying to get rid of stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Of course, come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it. We call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's something name to call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farad Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farad Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You chose, you made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did, I don't have any communication, but somehow they got the information over to him, said, would we please come and get him? Nope. Said, no, tell him no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land, you got your reparations, you got your money, you got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him, talk to him, let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea, he was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations, we told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger till you told you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, bro, since that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Oh, so you're not getting more reports on because Okay, he says that was Matthew Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those. Wow, they came in. All that came in today, man. I came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send some food. They begged, said, please send some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send some food. He says, no. He refused. That's what I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.